All right, guys. So I had to drop a video just kind of quickly talking about Expedition 33. I recently got into it, and I mean, I am stunned by the quality of the game. I just wanted to do a video, I think, just kind of like generally giving my thoughts on the game. A lot of people ask me to do it without spoilers, too, so I think we will do that. I won't, like, delve into anything that would be considered spoilers or anything like that. I just kind of have some footage. This is very early game. This is the first, like, gameplay section right here, so this is not, you know, this kind of just in the background. It's not really showing, spoiling anything, you know, major or anything like that. My plan is, you know, you guys, I'm a big, trophy collector, right? So, like, I'm playing a lot of different games, and, you know, I'm always, you know, at least have an eye towards trying to 100% it, or get all trophies, stuff like that. I am working my way towards that with Expedition 33, but I'm really enjoying the game so much. I'm not really looking to just kind of like rush through it a lot. I think during the Platinum Trophy video I do for this game, that will have all the spoiler talk and stuff like that. I mean, I guess I kind of, like, I mean, you know, the secret bosses and stuff like that are, you know, huge spoilers, so whatever. During that one, we'll talk about it. This, I guess, will just kind of be like a review of the game. I am stunned, shocked, completely impressed at the quality of this game. I just find it to be a masterpiece. I feel like is not like a ridiculous thing to say here. Going through this game, the music, I think the characters, the story, like, I love all of it, right? I am a huge, like, RPG head, right? Like, especially, like, turn-based combat. I mean, we've got combat going on right here in the background. You know, if you look at the top left, there is kind of like the turn order, which to me is very reminiscent of Final Fantasy X, right? I think a lot of people see kind of like that turn order right there, and Final Fantasy X is just immediately what they do kind of like go to, right? And it does work. But the thing about this game is, I mean, the developers basically said, like, you know, they listed out, like, oh, like, this game. Like, the parry system, the turn-based combat, I just find it all to be very good. I think it looks good, it's flashy, it's fun, and to me, I haven't really been able to put the game down. I just think that it's so good. The music, of course, really helps to carry the game a lot. I just like the soundtrack through all of the big parts of the game. I think is really, really good. That kind of like really sets the tone, sets the mood. If I would say there's one like criticism I would have of the game, I think is that the story itself, I feel like it's actually pretty short for an RPG. Now, I guess it's just kind of like in my path towards going for the Platinum Trophy, I did kind of just do pretty much just only exclusively story stuff, got that out of the way, and then I have started, you know, in post-game, exploring all of the different, you know, kind of like side areas and stuff like that. And I assume most players probably would be exploring a little bit more during their kind of like initial playthrough and initial run. But the story, I mean, I can't imagine it's much longer than 20 hours if you just do the story. I did do the game in kind of like a lower difficulty setting. You know, it's just, I don't know, if I don't need to do like, you know, like Dante Must Die mode in Devil May Cry for a trophy or something like that, usually I will kind of just like be a little bit more chill with it. I suppose if you're dying a lot, like trying to like time and master the parries and stuff like that, I mean, that could definitely like extend. The game is very kind of like forgiving though, right? Like it definitely is set up in such a way where you're able to parry all enemy attacks, right? Or dodge, anything like that. So, like, even right here, like, again, this is still that very first area of the game, just kind of like the initial gameplay and stuff like that. The way the game is set up is really pretty easy. Like, you could come into here. This is a boss that is, like, kind of like, you know, way too strong. I feel like this is just a setup to just kind of, like, teach you, like, you know, like, if you can deal with the boss's attacks through either, you know, parrying or dodging or whatever, you can pretty much do almost any fight. I mean, you could do very high level side areas, right? Like it's like if you're just playing the game, right in front of you is like a story area, and right to the left of you is like, you know, level 80 like super side area that like it, you know, if you're very skilled, very good with like the dodge timing, the parry timing and stuff like that, you know, you'll be able to potentially do this stuff. So at this fight right here, when I was doing my first playthrough, I was kind of like just like getting a better feel for the game with this, and then I was also going for a trophy to beat a boss without taking damage, right? So I was kind of like trying to just like get a little bit better of kind of like the feel of the game itself for this fight. And when I say it's very forgiving, at like there's no manual saving in this game. It is just kind of like an auto save system that triggers, I mean, very, very, very often, right? Like, you know, like the save points are flags, right? You could just change a character's costume quickly, it'll trigger a save. And you, so it like the game is set up for you to, you know, potentially do like normal or hard difficulty, go against one of these bosses. The bosses smoke you probably the first time, but you get a feel for like how their attacks look, the timings for the parries, the dodges and stuff like that. And then, you know, you could just, you know, I mean, you get your game over or whatever, you know, you load right back from the save and you just walk right back in. And then with the knowledge of kind of like how the enemy's attacks are timed, you'll be able to actually get it done on the second go round. I just think that the whole flow of the combat system to me is very good. And then, I mean, I always enjoy like the turn-based games again, you know, building up your characters and stuff like that. Now, getting back to the point where I think that the story feels a bit short, I mean, I for the most part, I have not really seen people criticize this game at all. Maybe, I think once like a honeymoon phase goes away, maybe I'll start to see more, you know, kind of like criticism, stuff like that pop up. I think one thing, now, I'm not really, this is not really like a spoiler, but like the game's story moves forward under the premise of like there's a lot of things that you don't know, right, through most of the story. And I would say that the game does wait until like very close to the end to kind of give you the full rundown of everything that's going on, right? Answering all the questions. And it is like essentially like almost like one brick giant cutscene that happens that, you know, kind of like lays out like the full plot, the full details, stuff like that. Like I've seen, you know, it was actually just today I saw someone that said they didn't enjoy the game and the story. Again, you get close to the end before you finally get like the boom, 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 boom answer for all the questions. So I think like if you're not feeling the story, it's definitely not gonna feel very good to just constantly be kind of like blue balled, you know, in terms of like what's going on with, you know, some of the characters' motivations and, you know, like what exactly is going on kind of like behind the scenes, right under the surface. It takes a long time for like all of that to kind of be like displayed. Like for me, I was loving the characters, loving the story, loving everything I saw. So I was just having like, I don't know, I was just really enjoying going through, kind of like thinking about it myself, right? Like they certainly do drop, you know, very like, you know, good hints as to like, you know, what's really going on, you know, this and that. But that is something I think like in terms of my criticisms, it will probably just be that the story is too short and then it maybe waits a bit too long to give you a lot of the answers, right? Like it's like if there's 100 questions you have, 97 of them is like, you know, right near the end that you get told. And like 3 come, you know, just during the course of the actual playthrough. I mean, that covers a lot of it. Again, like, you know, we're kind of like seeing the gameplay again. This part was just me mostly practicing against kind of like an early optional boss. The story I thought was very good. I would say that once all the reveals happen, I myself was very satisfied with it. At first, I was kind of thinking it over, and then like I just have grown to love it. I thought the ending was exceptional. This is one of those games, too, where I feel like the story is such a huge part of, like, the experience. And, like, you know, if you don't vibe with the story and what happens with, you know, everything being revealed, certainly I could see how someone wouldn't like that. But I loved it. And I was very concerned about the game not sticking the landing. Well, I would say, well, let's consider, like, it's like Final Fantasy 16. I was a huge Final Fantasy 16 fan, and I was, like, so nervous that the ending was just going to be horrible. And I remember like, I was actually, like, so terrified going into the end. And I thought it was actually, like, like, it was awesome. Like, I loved it. Here I was much more confident, but I think that they did completely nail it. I thought that the ending was good. I like the story, like it. In terms of post-game, there is a huge amount of post-game content, too. Like, whereas the story, I think, again, is short. I mean, I kind of saved all of the side areas until, I guess, after I was done with the game. But, like, once you're kind of able to freely explore the world, there is so much content. This game was developed by what, like a 30-man team or something like that, and I just find that the overall quality of the game is incredible. I think that this dev team, they just mogged the entire industry. I think that the quality, to me, shines through the whole way through, and the passion shines through the whole way through. As of right now, I could say I easily think that this is my favorite game of all time. Like, I could say that very confidently, and I just, like, I don't care how people take it. Like, that's what I think. This is my favorite game. I think, like, story, music, fights, moments, like, all of it, I think it's just, like, 10 out of 10, all the stuff. So, for me, this game's incredible. There we go. Just kind of like a quick review. Again, I'm going to do one of my normal Platinum Trophy videos for this as well. That is probably going to be like a 3-hour-long video, I'm sure, because it's, like, I love this game, and those Platinum Trophy videos are, like, almost, like, passion projects for me, right? Like, well, I'll just be sitting there yapping away for 3 hours, but, yeah, if you guys are on the fence or anything like that, I could not recommend the game enough. I think it's just a huge, great experience. And I would just straight up call this game a masterpiece.